My microphone was not on. Sorry about that, everybody. It's on now. Can you hear me now? I think you can hear me now. I said hello, Dina and Linda and Jen Sheen and Benaz and Zing and Fang Fang. Hello. Sorry about my cough, everybody. I think I might be getting a cold. I'm not sure. Well, I'm here, everybody. If you guys want to talk to me, you can talk to me. You can raise your hand and come talk to me if you want to. You can ask me questions if you want to. Today is a friend in every corner, which means it's an open stream that you can ask me any questions you want. You can ask me any questions about English, definitely. You can ask me questions about culture, definitely. I don't want to talk about anything controversial. I have no interest. I have many opinions that are very controversial opinions. But I don't have any interest in sharing them or debating them or talking to anyone or promoting them. Those are my ideas. So if you have questions that are like kind of controversial or things you want to ask me, they're controversial, no offense, but I'm not going to answer those kinds of questions. Okay. Not in a public setting. If you want to talk to me in private about something, maybe I'll discuss it with you on a private lesson where you pay me. But if you want to ask me questions here in an open format like this, then questions can be about English. They can be about culture. Okay. They can be about life. But if it's about anything controversial, find another sucker. Okay. Hello, Shala. So again, I'm waiting to talk to you guys. If you guys want to come talk to me, raise your hand. Nobody's raising their hand yet. If you guys want to write your questions, you can write your questions. Oh, look, there's Clay. There's Clay. Clay was supposed to come today, but he couldn't make it. He was studying late, so he's here, but he's in the chat. So Clay is here, everybody. And Clay, I can't remember. Do you have a VIP yet or no? Did you end up getting a VIP? So if I bring you on stage, you can stay on stage, right? Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So we can bring you up on stage too if you want. Let's do that. Can you do that, Clay? Do you have your stuff set up to be able to come on stage or no? It's okay if you don't. We'll get that set up for another time if you don't. If you want to just hang in the chat room, that's fine too. Take your time. Take your time. You just let me know if you want to try it. Your English is so bad, well, it won't get better unless you try. It won't get better unless you try. There's Clay. All right, let's get Clay up here. Hey, dude, there you are.
What's up?
All right, so this is different.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, you got your stuff kind of set up, I guess?
No, a little bit. I've just got my phone, and I went into my other room here.
Okay.
My home little area is sort of ready, but it's a little messy, so I went to a cleaner area.
I understand. Well, yeah, but it works. So, and you have a VIP, so we can do this.
Yeah, that's good.
And then we can bring somebody else up on stage, and because you have a VIP, it doesn't matter.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I saw someone mention that they don't think their English is very good, but I'd be willing to bet that it's probably better than they think, as usual, with that.
Almost everyone on Hello Talk.
Yeah.
Their English is better than they think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, really, almost everybody I've talked to.
Yeah.
I think it's a human thing. It's a natural thing to, I think that we all know that nobody likes an arrogant person, somebody who pretends to be better than they are. So I think it's a natural psychological inclination to want to assume you're worse than you are, because assuming you're better than you are is never good.
Yeah, and I think the person I saw was not from China, but I know Chinese are very big on being, and not over your
to a fault though. To a fault in sometimes, yeah. So, what else is new?
Not much, man. Yeah, just I had to finish an essay last night, and it took me a little while. It was on Hemingway, one of Hemingway's short stories, and I had to do an essay on theme, and I probably procrastinated a little more than I should have, but I was able to get it done and get it turned in, and it was all good.
Good.
Yeah, it was on the story, A Clean, Well-Lighted Place. I don't know if you've ever read that, but it's just one of Hemingway's short stories that are, it's good. It's a good little short story about loneliness, really. But I think short stories in general, it's kind of a good thing are probably a good way to get into reading English in general. Some of them have, I wouldn't say Hemingway's a great way to get into reading English, but other.
I mean, the Old Man in the Sea is really, really simple.
Well, his whole shtick is sort of the simple, but I think you lose a lot of understanding and interest.
The problem is the problem is that book is grammatically and in terms of the terminology and lexicon, it's not very difficult.
Right.
But it's I love the South Park episode about the Old Man in the Sea, and the kids have to write a book report about it. And so they don't want to write a book report about it. So they go down to the Home Depot and they find a bunch of Mexican workers and they pay them to do the book report for them.
Oh, right. They write their essays.
Right. They write their essays. Right. Yeah. And when they tell what happened, that's what the book is. He's a fisherman. He goes to catch the fish. He catches the fish, and then the shark eats the fish. It's that's it. Right. And it's but that's the story. It's like telling what happens in Titanic. Not very eventful,
It's like most of the Hemingway stories are like, this happened, then that happened. Okay, that's it. And someone was sad.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not an
his
eventful
dialogue.
book. It's a book that is
No.
full of, and the funny thing is, did you ever see about how Hemingway himself, when asked about what were the subtext and the subcontext and the messages, he said there are none.
Yeah, he does, and that's and that's partly a trick to to make people think, but it's partly true as well. As even myself as a writer, I don't always.
Right. It's the same thing as
aiming
my
for
band.
symbolism. You're
Right.
aiming for symbolism and you're aiming for theme, but people will be able to dig into and look into and extrapolate
Right.
meaning and pull meaning out of whatever it is that you're doing.
Right. So, it's the same as when my band writes a song. People want to know, what does it mean? What does it mean?
Right.
It means whatever you want it to mean, man.
Exactly.
like-
He wrote it to dance to.
Right. That's how writing is. That's how painting is.
Yeah.
That's how songs are. It means whatever it means to you. That's what it means.
Yeah.
You can't tell somebody it doesn't mean that. If that's what it means to them, that's what it means,
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
There are some people who listen to one song and they feel inspired by it. I listen to it and I feel, annoyed. Right? Like,
Exactly.
so,
And,
yeah.
and there's people who will look super deep into any old thing,
Right.
and make it. And
That's
make it
exactly
something.
right. Yeah. But
Make it
in
more
all
than maybe
honesty,
what it was.
I like to believe that particular book is really just a story he wrote, because being a writer is about being prolific. You have to write a lot. And so that means that any good writer is going to write stuff without purpose. They're just going to write.
Right.
They're not going to think like, well, I've got this character and I've got this idea and I'm gonna string them all together. No, you just start writing and it just goes where it goes, right?
Right.
And so I like to believe that this was one where he just sat down one day and just started writing a story. The Old Man and the Sea. Okay. There's an
Yeah, what do they do on the sea?
Right, like it was like a writing exercise for him just to do something. That's what I imagine in my mind. That it really does have no point, and but that doesn't make it bad. It's just I'm just trying to say that.
Well, and that's even like The Sun Also Rises, his book, which is it has a lot of subtext and some hidden things that are going on within it. But as far as like what is happening in the story is very little.
Right.
As far as what is actually going on is sort of just these people going around drinking and talking.
Right.
And that's a lot.
And
that's what Hemingway did.
The funny thing is, though, this is another reason why young people have such a hard time reading books, is because when they read books, for example, like look at Tolstoy, like something like War and Peace. Every year, fewer and fewer people probably read that book for one reason only. Well, no,
Length.
We'll call it two. Well, length, but also it's a book about a time period when stuff was really boring. Like there was no TV, there were no movies, there was no excitement, there was no fun stuff going on. So when you write about your day, it is boring. It is boring.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of action. It's not an action movie.
Drinking.
Right. A lot of drinking, a lot of talking, a lot of boring sequences here and there, but not a lot of action or,
Right.
So you combine those two things, a lack of, I don't think patience is the right word. What's the right word for that?
Maybe focus or
but not quite focus either. It's like stamina. It's more like it's more like reading stamina. Like they don't have the stamina to make it through. They just give up. It's too boring for them.
And I feel like reading, like any skill, it takes even for a native English speaker, it takes time. You have to read, and then the more you read, the better you get at it. And the more you can
and then still,
and the more you can keep going with it too.
And still, there are books that you will really be into, and books that you read and you're
of
just,
course. Definitely
not into.
Yeah, they were like, what was the point? Because that was even, I think, when I read Hemingway, The Sun Also Rises, I was like 17 or 18, and I didn't get most of the subtext then. But even then, I was like, even now, it's still kind of a boring sort of story, Like, I like Hemingway all right, but I prefer sort of getting sort of out there with some, and a short story, an author that I've read some recently is Donald Barthelme. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but
No.
he's a very, very interesting absurdist writer who writes these, and that's sort of how I've been writing recently. But they start off in a place of reality that makes sense, and then slowly sort of turn into this weird story where strange things are happening and people are taking strange actions, which I like. It just makes it interesting, to watch a story turn like that, as opposed to just going outside and seeing everyday life that I can just go live instead of reading about it.
But it is a problem, that because we've trained people on social media now, their focus is minuscule, and because their focus is minuscule, they can't make it through a paragraph, let alone a chapter.
Right. My mother, being a teacher, she was at the high school level for a long time, but has been at the middle school level for 10 years now. And she says that's,
that's what I've heard.
When I was a kid too.
Yeah.
But
me too.
But she says that this is on a different level.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say.
Not
like
being able to understand or look at things and care about it at all.
I was part of the, ADHD generation, like the first generation that we said, oh, wow, he's hyper. Let's do something about that. Before my age, there was nobody even bothered with the hyper kid. He was just hyper. You just put him in the back, that's it, but, so, what you're saying is true, but honestly, it is to a point now where it's
it's worse now, for sure.
It's
my mom
disturbing.
Has been in the industry for 20 years, and she's seen it devolve firsthand, in trying and in children, and which is when you really should be wanting to learn and having interest in something anyway. Maybe not every single subject, obviously, but
I mean, it's also it's already affecting, because unfortunately, I feel like there are a whole lot of people who are making who are directing their lives with only about 1/30 of the information.
Right.
like they dip their toes into something, whatever it is, history or science or whatever. They dip their toes in for 1/30 of it. They see one thing, then they make a decision based on that, and then they go out and
yes, and they think they have all the information.
Right. Which is why we have flat earthers. That's exactly why we have flat earthers.
That is scary. It really is.
Right. And that's what I mean. Like if we have people who believe the earth is flat, then just think about how much worse it's going to be getting here soon because of how little people will actually know about the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really sad. Yeah.
And that's an Americentric viewpoint. And other people believe the earth is flat in other parts of the world as well. But the main thrust of flat earthers do come from America, sadly.
Yeah,
and it comes from a distrust in education systems.
Right. Well, that's the other quote that I love is I see this quote every once in a while, and it really does make me think, oh, wow, that's really true. There are some people who didn't do well in school. And as adults, they did well as adults. So in order to comport those two things together, they would rather believe that school was some sort of a conspiracy that they avoided rather than they just failed.
And there's also the fact that here in the States anyway, which is really the only area I have knowledge of, is that if you make money and you're successful financially, then none of the other stuff matters. You're already considered smart. You're already considered intelligent if you're able to make money in some way, even if you inherited it.
Well, and again,
they still consider you an intelligent person, whereas I think it's obviously it takes work to gain knowledge as opposed to just gaining money and now you're a smart, intelligent person. Yes, it's a great thing to be able to make money and to do that, but to base your whole idea of somebody off of that is what happens a lot here in America, I think.
Right. Did you ever hear the quote from Asimov about ignorance?
I don't think so. Maybe I have.
There is a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there always has been. It's let's see, where's the full quote? Here it is. Anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread winding its way through our political and cultural life, nurtured by the false notion that democracy means my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge.
Right.
And that's exactly where we are.
And I also think that, like, freedom of speech is a good thing, but it also lends credit to anyone's opinion.
Well,
so
it didn't used to. That's only because of social media. That's only because of social media.
That's how it's become now. Because you have the ability to say something, it is automatically worth as much as someone else saying something, regardless of knowledge level.
And then on top of that, it used to be that if you had some crazy, stupid idea, it died in someone's basement.
Right.
But
or
now,
cultivated in someone's basement, now 30 years later.
Right, but cultivated with like 30 people. You know, like 30 people who knew about it. It was like, but now that 30, right, that 30 is now 3 million, right? Like because of social media. And now because you have 3 million people who agree with you, now you really think you're right.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. It's not a great situation.
Right. Yeah. That's the one of the downfalls of social media is that it creates an environment of where the natural mechanisms, that's the word I was looking for, the natural mechanisms that used to weed out stupidity and stupid ideas, because, you know, people would say, what? That's stupid. Forget about you. But if you say that to 1 million people, you'll find 100 who will agree with you.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think it's the deterioration of science. Like, science was looked at with much more respect, you know, for a long time. And while obviously there's always been pushback against evolution, there's been pushback against evolution by religious sects forever. But since the inception of the idea of evolution. But the people denigrate science now more and more, and it's sad.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, not just science, just knowledge in general. You know, I really feel like
they disrespect the arts completely. You know, as something that's not usable or good.
And that's what happens when you reach economics works in a certain pattern, right? Where the more desperate people get, the less value arts have until a point of complete desperation. Like, for example, the 1920s after the stock market crash. Right. So before that, I'm guessing that music was not that important to people. Based on what I know, it wasn't that important to people in the early 1890s, 1900, right around that time period. Wasn't that important to people. Yeah, sure, they listened to it, but it wasn't that important to them. But then when the stock market happened, the crash happened, now everybody loses everything. Now you don't have a pot to piss in, is what they say, right?
Yeah,
and
the blues become
the blues
popular,
and singing. Yeah. That's a way for you to express yourself without spending money, without doing anything, right? So that's when it became really popular, and so it goes through cycles like that, you know. But right now we're in a cycle of desperation where, when you're desperate to pay your bills. Music and movies and art don't really register, you know. They're not on your.
Yeah, exactly, and it's understandable to a point, you know. It's not,
it is, but
sometimes you have to get down to the necessities if you can't afford, you know, to go out and see things. But it's the discrediting and the disrespect for it, I think, that, you know, is where the problem comes along.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So we have some people in the audience who are trying to talk to us now. So hello, MPEP.
Hey, MPEP.
Although he already left, I think.
Oh. What do you mean? Hashem wants to know what you're eating.
Pistachios. I'm eating pistachios, everyone. Yeah, I like to have pistachios with my coffee. The audio quality is not great, though, I will have to say. I'm hoping I can hear my echo.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if they can hear my echo or not, but it might get better when you get your equipment together.
Yeah, because I'm just on my phone.
Right. Well, that's why, because what's happening is my voice is coming out your phone and then going back in the microphone.
Yeah, I'm trying to hold on. And now they've got the new
the newer iPhones, they've got speakers on both sides,
Right.
whereas it used to just have the speaker on the top, so it would avoid it. But now I feel like it's
Right.
It's just coming out of both sides, so it makes it hard to.
Right, and they do have technology that's supposed to,
buffer that or whatever.
to deal with those echoes, but I don't think it always works, and I think it works better when you have a better microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and I don't know how to say that. Is it Mawa?
Mawa?
It looks like Mawa, but I'm sure that's not what it is. But from Russia, wants to know how to practice your English. Well, what are you doing to practice your English now? When you ask me how can I practice my English, my first question is, what are you doing now? What do you do? This is not a hard question. Any language. If I wanted to learn Spanish, what would I do? First, you need some vocabulary, right? And you need a little grammar, right? And you need a little pronunciation, right? And you need some reading and some writing and some listening and some speaking, right? These are not hard concepts to come up with, right? Like, I know it seems
like a huge task.
Yeah, and it is.
Yeah, and it is, but you can break it up into very small parts.
That's right. Yeah, and again, I like to tell people it's much more like learning the piano, where, you should be able to learn how to play a song within the first few days. If you have a good teacher, they'll teach you what you need to know to start playing a song in the first few days. So, same thing with language. You should be able to make some language within the first few days if you're doing it the right way. Okay, so follow me here and you'll get lots of tips. Okay? Does a native speaker need, 7, do you mean, does a native speaker need to improve their English? Well, yeah, lots of them do. And I think the majority of us, oh no, that's probably not a good thing to say. I wouldn't say the majority. Some of us try to maintain a pretty good level of English. Some of us are more conscientious about our language, right? Careful about our language. We recognize that language comes with judgment, right? And so when you present your language anywhere you go, it is judged one way or another. So just like if I speak like this in the wrong situation, I might be judged not favorably, meaning like if I'm, for example, if I go to, if I go hang out with my band, and we're all hanging out with a bunch of other rock bands, and if I'm speaking academically, they might feel it's a little weird, right? So again, that's that code switching kind of a thing, Yeah,
and that was, I think sometimes, people see native English spoken online or on TV or something that is, like we always talk about, very contextual, and it means it's not the way that they would speak if they're speaking to someone who they are trying to, like someone who doesn't speak English.
Right.
They would speak very differently.
Yeah, but I guess what my point was just simply that there are some Americans, I think honestly it has a lot to do with who your parents are, right? Like, my mom still corrects me. Right? So like,
my grandpa, enunciate your words. He used to always say that.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, there are certain families that when you grow up, you're taught that language is more important, and so you should always make sure you try to maintain it the best you can, because they know that you will be judged if your language is not good. You won't get a seat at the table. You won't be able to say what you feel, right? People won't listen to you if your words are not crafted well.
Right.
And so, but not everybody's like that. There are lots of people, I meet them here all the time, and honestly, it's a little shocking to me sometimes when I see native speakers who come to my advanced vocabulary classes and say, I don't know any of these words. It's like, dude, why?
Yeah.
Like, do you not read ever? Like, did you go to...
Germaine?
Yeah, right. Yeah, come on. I mean, like, at some point in time, it does become a little shocking. Like, really? You know, like, I mean, unless you have like a serious disability of learning, then there's no good excuse for why you shouldn't know some of the words that we usually, you know, use in our vocabulary classes, you know, or grammar, you know, things like that. And granted, I am not a grammarian, and I don't want people to be overly
because it changes anyway over time.
Right. So I don't want anybody to be like super obnoxious about their grammar perfection. But on the other hand, I find it ridiculous to not have just a basic level of grammar
among native speakers.
Right.
For sure.
That's what I meant. Among native speakers. That's what I'm talking about. Native speakers.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you don't know your, and your, and you know, your, if you don't know there, and your,
I think we've talked about that. Would of.
Right. Yeah. Would of. And yeah. Things like that. If you don't know those basic things, just that basic level, I'm talking about like third grade grammar. You know, we're not talking about college level, you know, stuff. We're talking about third grade level, fourth grade level English. If you can't do that as a base, as a native speaker, you should be embarrassed. You should be embarrassed, and you should figure it out.
People aren't going to be able to tell you a perfect present or whatever, you know, any of the, and that's understandable. Right.
That's different. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not asking them to recite rules. I mean, just to have a conversation where they don't screw up the grammar too much, you know.
And to use words in a way that is understandable.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not asking a whole lot.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Let me let's check to make sure we didn't miss anything here.
I need to hop in the shower and start to get ready for work.
All right, no worries. Yeah. Oh, is it that time already?
No, not quite.
For
I
you.
didn't. Usually when I'm over there, I usually already have a shower.
Yeah,
and I'm already get up early, and then and then I'm ready. But
all right, no worries. Okay, well, go get your stuff together, and I'll start talking to some other people here. So,
all right, bye, everybody.
Well, it was a good test. It was a good test run. And yes, before you go, make sure everybody here go ahead and follow Clay. Follow Clay. This is my co-host, Clay. He's also an English teacher. So if you want to follow him, go ahead. There's his profile right there. Just stay on here for just one more minute. Give them a minute to follow you. Click on his profile and follow him. If you want to follow him, now is the time. You're not going to see him until next time. So, you know, at least go ahead and follow him when you can. All right, guys. Okay. I'll see you next time. I'll see you on Friday.
Yep, I'll see you guys Friday.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
See you, brother. All right. Let's see. Let me go back and check the comments here. Okay. So do native English speakers need to improve? Of course they do. Of course they do. I'm a native speaker. I'm an English teacher, and I still try to improve. 7, it's like being a professional musician. Even the greatest violinist in the world wakes up every day trying to be better. Okay, even the greatest cellist in the world, even the greatest pianist in the world, they all wake up every day trying to be better, no matter how good they are. They could be the best in the world, and yet they still wake up every day trying to be better. That's how language is, too. Okay? Even if you're a native speaker. How can you contact me privately to benefit from my lessons? Did you send me a private message on Hello Talk? Oh, you did, but you didn't mention anything about lessons. I'm sending you a message right now, DJO. And I'm giving you my website on there so that you can go check out my lessons. Okay? I sent you my website. You can check it on your Hello Talk, and you can see if you want to buy lessons from me. Okay, so we're open. This is an open chat today. If you have questions about English, ask me your questions about English. If you want to chat, we can chat a little bit. Okay? Fatima says, my question is that why, when I learn new conversations and grammar and I want to speak, I forget it. And I use the old lessons when I was in high school. Well, Fatima, the old lessons that you have from high school are now part of your long-term memory. Long-term memory, those things, they have patterns in your brain that make them easier to remember. Because you have a constant pattern that you've done over many years, it's easier to remember it. New things, you haven't done the repetitions enough to make the same strong patterns. Okay, so new things that you learn are easier to forget and more difficult to use because they haven't become permanently part of your language, right? They're just kind of on top. They're not really, really deep. They're just shallow on the top. The more you use them, the deeper they get. Okay, so if you're only using them a few times, then it will remain shallow and it will never feel like it's easy to get. Okay? Certificates like the TESOL or the TEFL, are they important to become a teacher of English? Well, yeah. If you want to actually work in a school or go to a country and teach English, then yes, they are. I have my TEFL, 100 hours. What's the difference between should and must? Must is stronger, Dina. So if I say you should go to the birthday party this weekend, that's just a suggestion. I think it's a good idea. That would be what I would advise you to do. If I tell you you must go, that's more like a command. Or it's telling you that this is much, much more important and much more serious. So the should is much stronger. Okay, so either must is a command or must is a stronger version of should that's really telling you that this is an important suggestion. Okay? Hello, Belen. Good to see you. I'm okay. How to improve your sentence formation. You're either very slow or you speak in small chunks. Let's see. Anthony. Sentence formation. Anthony, I think you should continue to think in small chunks, but just try to make those chunks bigger and bigger each time. Okay, so here's what I would like you to do, Anthony. I want you to sit down and write. Let me think. Hold on. Think of your favorite movie. Your favorite movie, okay? And I want you to sit down and write about your favorite movie. And the first thing that you're going to write is one sentence about the movie. And it can be very short. It could be just a few words if you want to. Just the shortest thing that you can do, the smallest chunk you can do about your favorite movie. Then I want you to build on that. I want you to make the sentence longer and better. And then I want you to add more sentences and make it a paragraph. And then I want you to make 2 or 3 paragraphs. Right? So this is a way that you can start to create a system of practice where you take one story, one idea, one concept, one topic, and then you try to write the most simple form that you can do now, right? And then I want you to look at that and try to, how can I make this bigger? How can I make this better? How can I expand it? How can I improve it? Okay? And hello, Guatem. Welcome. Hamza, can I give you advice for speaking English? I can give you a general advice, and general advice would be follow me here. Almost 80,000 people follow me. Why? Why do 80,000 people follow me? Because I give advice about English all the time. Okay? I have done like 1,000 of these streams. All right? I'm a real teacher. So my advice is follow me and listen and make notes. Go to my YouTube channel. You'll find lots and lots of videos to watch. Okay? Advice about reading, writing, listening, speaking, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, accent, confidence. It's all there. Okay? What do you think if I teach you Arabic and you teach me English? Ahmed, I would love to do that, but I can't. I'm too busy, unfortunately. Okay? Ahmed, that is a good question for someone else who is here learning, but I'm a teacher. I don't have time. Sorry. I would like to learn some more Arabic. I know a little, but yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm a teacher of English. I'm not a practice partner. Okay? That's not what my purpose is here. Okay, and Adriana's birthday is today. We'll tell her I said happy birthday. Please tell her I said happy birthday. Mahmoud wants to know, let's see, can I recommend something because you don't like reading? How can you replace this skill to improve vocabulary and accent? Mahmoud, here's my suggestion to you. If you don't like reading books, then don't read books. Read articles. If you don't like reading articles, then don't read articles. Read short stories. If you don't like reading short stories, then don't read short stories. Read paragraphs. If you don't like reading paragraphs, don't read paragraphs. Read restaurant reviews. If you don't like reading restaurant reviews, don't read restaurant reviews. Read movie reviews. If you don't like reading movie reviews, don't read movie reviews. Read poetry. So, Mahmoud, you cannot ignore reading. If you want to learn a language, that's basically, Mahmoud, you're saying, I want to ignore one of my limbs. So you can live with only one arm and two legs. If you want to, you can live with one arm and two legs. Many people have, a missing limb, right? But why would you choose to do that? And when you ignore reading, you're choosing to ignore a limb. You're basically removing a limb and taking it off of your body. So you still have to read. Okay, Mahmoud, that's the answer is you must read. You don't have a choice. You must. So instead of saying I can't or I don't like to, find a way to make it work. Find something that you can like. Mahmoud, there are literally billions of things to read. Billions. So when someone tells me I don't like reading, that's like saying I don't like food. Maybe you just haven't eaten the right things. Okay? She's with you right now. Well, hello, Adriana, and happy birthday to you. You can find my channel by going to my profile on Hello Talk, and you'll see a link, and you can follow everything on that one link, okay? Right, if you don't like poetry, then listen to English music. That's exactly right, okay? And that's right. Reading is essential for learning of almost anything, not just English, right? And if you say you don't like reading, I just don't know how to, that's not acceptable. That means you haven't tried enough. It means you haven't tried enough. It's like someone saying, I don't like art or I don't like music. That's a ridiculous statement to make. I guarantee there is some music you will like. I guarantee there are some foods you will like. I guarantee there are some books you will like. Okay? You just have to find them. Okay? Books. Books are like minerals. You know? They're like rare minerals. They're like diamonds. They're like sapphires. They're like, they're difficult things that you must dig up and find. If you want the most valuable ones, then you have to search for them. Okay? Please advise you movies for learning English. Dina, I don't have a specific list, but I tell people that you should try to choose movies that have content that would benefit you. Meaning, I love science fiction movies, but sometimes the science fiction movies, the vocabulary they use maybe is not that, helpful for you, right? So movies about real life, right? About work, about family, about friends, about travel, those are good for learning English. Documentary movies are always good for learning English, right? You can watch anything with David Attenborough, right? So all of the Earth documentary TV series or movies, right? David Attenborough, his voice is amazing. He has a beautiful voice, right? So you can listen to him for two reasons. One, it's a documentary series, so the language will be a high level and it will be proper English, okay? Especially from David Attenborough. And his pronunciation is great as well. So those are good, okay? You just want to live, but you don't like eating. Well, good luck with that, Jason. Good luck with that. The best way to learn English, Mina, is to start. Okay? People ask this question all the time. What's the best way to do this thing? But what those people, anybody who's asking that question, what you need to do is stop asking that question and just start learning. It's really what it is. Okay? It's kind of like you want to, let me think. You want to travel, you want to hike down this pathway, okay? And this pathway takes you to this mountain. And it's a beautiful mountain, right? So you want to hike down this pathway. But you're standing at the beginning of the trail. You're standing at the beginning, and everybody who comes by you ask them, hey, how do I get to the mountain the fastest way? What's the best way to get to the mountain? The path is right there. There's the path. Everybody keeps walking on the path, and they're walking forward, and they're going to the mountain. And you keep asking, how do I get to the mountain? How do I go to the mountain? Start walking. Start walking. The best way is to start. I don't care. I don't care what you do. Just start doing it. Okay? Stop asking the question, how can I do it? Just start. Because the problem is, too many people, they continue to ask the question, but they never start. What's the best way to learn English? 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 Every day, what's the best way to learn English? And tomorrow they'll ask what's the best way to learn English, but they won't start. And next week they'll ask what's the best way to learn English, but they won't start. And next month they'll ask what's the best way to learn English, but they won't start. Start walking. If you want to get to the mountain, start walking. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to say. Don't ask, how can I do it easier? How can I do it better? Just start. Just start. Okay? And you know how to. Anybody who is here, you know how to start learning English. Why do I know that? Because you know another language, and all languages are the same for the most part. Meaning, every language, you need to learn how to write and read and listen and speak, right? And there's grammar and there's vocabulary. You know. So if I learn Arabic, I need to learn how to read, write, listen, speak. I need to know how to do the grammar. I need to know how to do the vocabulary, the pronunciation. If I do Japanese, I need to read, write, listen, speak. I need grammar. I need vocabulary. I need pronunciation. If I do French, I need to read, write, listen, speak. I need grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. So you know what to do. You know what to do. And we live in an age where there are lots and lots of websites, free places where you can start learning something. Okay? You can start. So just start. Stop talking. Start walking. Okay? Stop talking. Start walking. All right, let's talk to Mahmoud. We've got a few Mahmouds here today. Hello, Mahmoud.
Yes, hello, teacher Mark.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Good. And you
I'm
are in
speaker.
you're in Egypt, right? Are you in Cairo?
Yeah, no, I'm in Minya.
Minya.
It's Upper Egypt.
Oh, okay. Is that near where?
Near after Cairo, 200 kilometers.
Ah, okay. 200 kilometers north.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So what can I do for you today?
I'm feeling good, but I'm following you. It's a 7 day in Arab. I'm native Arabic speaker and look to improve and improve my English language. I'm so sorry about that, but I'm very lucky to with you, Mr. Teacher Mark.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And you know, it sounds like you're doing fine. Do you have a question for me or something you want to ask me about?
Yes, if you give me advice to learn and improve my English language, what is your advice? And the second question, I want to give me a rate in my English language as per our conversation with you.
Okay. So, first, I will say that if you want to improve your English, it depends on what your goals are. Everybody has different goals with English, right? So what that means is maybe your goal is you want to travel, right? Or maybe your goal is you want to go to a university and study in another country. Or maybe your goal is that you want to get a better job in the government or something. Every one of those goals, that's going to be a different way of studying English, right? So depending on what your goals are, if you just want to learn English for traveling and for friendship and video games, you don't need to worry too much about grammar. You don't need to worry too much about perfection, right? You just need to learn how to focus on speaking and listening and maybe writing a little bit because of typing, right, on video games. But if you want to learn how to pass the TOEFL exam or the IELTS exam, that's different. Now you need a different plan because now you really do need to focus on grammar and you do need to focus on pronunciation and vocabulary more, right? So it depends. When people ask me what should I do, I don't know because I don't know you, right? So if I don't know you, I can't tell you what to do. My advice would have no value because I don't know you, right? So the first thing is you have to think about what's my plan? What is my purpose in learning? Why am I doing this? Once you know why, then you can start figuring out what to do, okay? So why are you trying to learn English? What is your purpose?
Sorry, I lost my connection.
Uh-oh.
Can you repeat your question?
So Mahmoud, what's your purpose in learning English?
I'm live in Dubai, 2 weeks in Dubai and 2 weeks in Egypt because I have my own shop in Dubai. So I meet daily after about 200 nationalities in Dubai.
Okay, so because you live in Dubai, it's an international community, but English is often used?
English is what?
English is often used?
What does that mean, often?
I mean, is English common in Dubai?
English is a basic language. No Arabic in Dubai. No one speaks Arabic in Dubai.
Oh, okay. So I didn't know that. Okay, so English, right? Okay, so that's why you need English. That's why you need English. Okay, so what I think you should focus on is speaking and listening mostly. Okay, so you need to make a plan. You've been here for 1 week. You need to make a plan for your English. So you need a plan for how to work on your speaking. You need a plan for how to work on your listening. Okay? If you go to my website, you'll find lots of resources for studying English and how to make a plan. Okay?
Yes, okay.
So you're welcome. And Mahmoud, you sound pretty good. It's unfortunately there's a lot of noise where you are, and the connection is not great, so it's a little hard for me to hear you well. But I think you're doing fine. I think if you follow me here more, then you'll get lots of tips, and you'll figure out what you need to do for you. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well,
I'm happy to meet you. I'm very lucky man to meet you, man.
It was my pleasure. Well, thank you very much, Mahmoud, and come back and see me again. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Take care.
Okay. Bye-bye. Take care.
All right. So yeah, like I said, everybody, if you ask me, how should I improve my English? I don't know. I don't know. I'm a teacher. I am an English teacher, but I don't know you. So it's a strange question if you ask, how can I improve? But you don't know that person. So they don't, any advice they give you is going to be general and generic advice, which is not really going to necessarily benefit you. Right? So you have to tell me about yourself, or you have to make your own decisions about what to do. Right? Yeah. But to be honest with you, if you are listening to me right now, if you're watching me and whatever, I have been on Hello Talk for almost 12 years. I have been doing live streams since the beginning of their live streams for about 3 years. I am a real teacher. I have about 15 years of experience teaching ESL, okay? And I have about 80,000 people around the world who follow me. So if you watch and you listen, 80,000 people don't follow me for nothing. They follow me because I do give advice all the time about English. But you should ask better questions. If you ask a question about how can I learn English, that's too big. Okay, a long time ago, one of my teachers, he told me, Mark, if the question that you ask is something that someone wrote a book about, then your question is not a good question. Okay? If someone wrote a book about it, then it's not a good question. It's too big. So if you say, how can I learn English? Not a good question. Do you know how many books are written about this? Right? You have to find a smaller question that can be answered without writing a book. Okay. Mahmoud, I would say out of 10, I think you're about a 5. I think that you're right in the middle intermediate area. Okay. You still need to do some work to polish it up and make it better. And you need to build your vocabulary more, work on your speaking and your pronunciation more, and your grammar a little bit, but you're doing pretty well. Okay. So you're right in that middle intermediate area. Okay. 5, 5.5, something like that. Okay. So keep working. All right. All right. I will get someone else up to talk in just a minute. Let me make sure I didn't miss any comments. Gabriella. Hello, Gabriella. So if you want to take private lessons with me, you can. Okay. It's not free, of course, because this is my job. So if you go to my website, you can buy private lessons from me. All right. But if you can't afford to buy private lessons from me, then the best thing you can do is follow me here and go to my website, follow my website, because on my website you can find my schedule. Okay? You can find my schedule for when I am here online. A couple of days ago, someone said, "Teacher, you should really tell people when you're here because sometimes we're waiting for you a long time." I don't know why you're waiting for me. My schedule is on my website. You can see when I'm going to be online. If you go to my website and subscribe, you can see all of my live streams and voice streams, and you'll know when I will be online. Okay, now, sometimes I'm busy. Last night I was supposed to have a voice stream, but I was too busy with lessons, so I didn't have a voice stream last night. Okay, or maybe I need a day off. Maybe I need a night off, right? So I take one night off. But I do 5 live streams and 5 voice streams most weeks. Okay, so 10 times a week, 15 hours a week. I am here for free teaching. You're welcome. All right, so follow me, take notes, make a plan. All right? You're often confused about when to use a colon and a semicolon properly. Can I clarify? Thanks a lot, Mel. So I think this is a problem that many people have, and to be honest with you, it's not that important. Okay, so if you're taking a grammar test, I'll give you the answer for the grammar test. But in real life, the truth of the matter is that no one should be confused if you use the wrong one. Okay? If anyone is confused, if you accidentally use a semicolon when you should have used a colon, I feel sorry for anybody who's so stupid that they still can't understand. Okay? Because there's nothing about a colon or a semicolon that should change the meaning of anything you're reading in any significant way. Okay? So, let me give you the answer. All right. So, one moment, please. So here's the difference between them, right? So they're both used, the colon and the semicolon. They're both used to try to kind of break up various ideas that you have, right? So you're trying to connect certain ideas or topics together in one sentence, but you want them to be separated so people know that they are separate, right? So, for example, a colon is something that's used to introduce information that elaborates on the preceding thing. So whatever you said before, a colon is like, for example, for a list of things, you use a colon, okay? That's the 2 dots, the colon, right? For explaining an example, you use a colon. Okay. For emphasizing a point, you use a colon, right? So, for example, introducing a list. If I say, she packed several items for the trip, colon, a toothbrush, comma, a map, comma, and a camera, period. Okay. So, she packed several things for the trip, colon. Now you list them. That's one way to use a colon. Presenting an explanation or example. He had one hobby, colon, collecting rare stamps. Okay, so now you have an idea and you're presenting an explanation or an example. You're telling people he had one hobby, colon, presenting rare stamps. But you could also use a comma there. You could say he had one hobby, comma, whatever, right? Same thing. No difference. Okay? Or emphasizing a point, like, for example, remember the old adage, colon, practice makes perfect. And again, you could use a comma and it would be fine. All right, so this is where grammar, again, becomes a little silly because no one cares. No one cares. What's the difference between a semicolon and a colon? No one cares. All right. So now, when to use a semicolon? I told you when to use a colon. Okay, I told you when to use a colon, but semicolon. The only difference is a semicolon is linking closely related independent clauses. So, for example, if you have something like the project deadline is approaching, semicolon, we must finalize our plans. So, yeah, Mel, it doesn't make any difference because in grammar, there is always more than one answer, right? So I could write that sentence with a colon or a semicolon or a comma or as two separate sentences, right? So it's not quite as prescriptive or proscriptive as you would have it, as you would believe it to be. Prescriptive means you should do this. Proscriptive means you shouldn't do this, right? And lots of people, that's what they talk about in language. You should do this and you shouldn't do this, and you should do this and you shouldn't do this. But in this case, it's writing, which means you can do pretty much anything you want to do, all right? So when you're taking a grammar test, there is a difference between a colon and a semicolon, okay? And the main difference would be a semicolon is used to separate clauses. So it almost sounds like full ideas, like two sentences put together. So essentially, like I said, there are times when you could also just use a comma to separate these two ideas. And it really would have no significant difference in the meaning. All right? So, yeah. So, for example, if you want to, here's a good example of when to use a semicolon. If you're talking about a bunch of people from a bunch of different places, right? So if I say the conference had attendees from Paris, France, which Paris, France is Paris, comma, France. Now you have a city with a comma and a country, and you're going to list more cities and countries, so that's when you should use, because you already used a comma to separate city, you can't use another comma or it will be confusing, right? So let me show you what I mean. Let me type this one so you can see, okay? Take a look at this sentence. The conference was attended by members from Paris, France, Paris, comma, France, semicolon, Berlin, comma, Germany, semicolon, and Tokyo, comma, Japan, period. Right? Because I'm making a list, but that list is already subdivided with a comma. So I don't want to use a comma. It would be too confusing. So that is one situation when you would want to use a semicolon. Those are separate clauses. Okay? Understand? Okay? But colons are used for more like lists of things. That's the most common way that I use a colon, is when I'm saying I want to list a bunch of things, or maybe some rules, right? I'll say a sentence, and here are the rules of, my live streams, colon. Right? Here are the rules of my live streams, colon. And then I'll say 1, blah, 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 2, blah, 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 3, blah, blah, blah. Okay? I explain it better than the books. I'm glad. So, yeah, Mel, again, if you're taking a test for grammar, then, yeah, there's a specific answer that they want you to say, right? And Mel, all I did was I asked ChatGPT to explain the difference between a colon and a semicolon, okay? And I'm just reading it and explaining that to you, but I really think that the explanation here is very simple. So go to ChatGPT and type in What did I type in? I said colon versus semicolon, explain. That's all right. That's all I typed, okay? So it gave me a great explanation with that, all right? All right, let me go back and make sure I didn't miss anything. You just need to listen to me as a native to get an ear. Unfortunately, my schedules do not match. Okay, but Heidi, if it's Heidi, I think it's Heidi, you can go to my YouTube channel. Every one of my Hello Talk live streams is on YouTube at the same time. So this is on Hello Talk and on YouTube right now, and it will be uploaded to YouTube when we're finished. So all of my live streams, you can watch them anytime you want on YouTube. All right? How can you use and remember the new vocabulary or phrases you're learning? Spend more time with them. If you want to remember a person, what do? You talk to them and you spend time with them. Why should it be any different with words? If you want to remember words, ask them questions and spend time with them. Okay? If you ask the right questions, words can tell you things. So if you ask, like, here's the word, the word run. The word run is a simple word, right? If I look at the word run and I say, oh, run, hey, run, nice to meet you, run. What's your job, run? Do you have a job? What do you do? Run can say, oh, I'm a verb. That's my job. I'm a verb. I do things. Okay? I do actions. I'm a verb. My verb action is running. Okay? Then you can say, oh, run, that's interesting. Where are you from, run? Where are you from? And if you look up the word run and find out where it comes from, oh, look, it says that run comes from the old German word rinnen, which means to flow or run. So originally the word run comes from Germany. It's old German. All right? That's interesting, which will help you remember the word because it's interesting. You know more about that word now, right? You can say, what do you like to do for fun, Run? Oh, I like to be in sentences about running. Oh, okay. So write some sentences about running and show me how you do that. Okay? So that's how you can remember new vocabulary and phrases. Spend more time with them and ask them questions so that you remember them, just like people. Okay, what's the difference between slang and phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs are two words that are put together to come up with a new meaning. Slang is local language that's created, improvised, that has different meanings, right? So, for example, let me think of a good one. Okay, so for example, God, I hate all. Can I be honest? I'm going to sound like an old man for just a minute here. All of the new slang that young people make. Hi, young people. I'm an old man. I'm sorry, but your slang sounds so stupid. I really feel like you guys have been trying really hard to make your slang extra stupid. Because words like gas and mid and simp and driss and yeet and cap and riz, stupid. I'm sorry, but really not, no. And the desperate part about slang is that slang is a desperate attempt to seem cool. But you're not cool if you're desperately trying. Okay? So anyway, the point was about slang. What's the difference between slang and phrasal verbs? Slang is words that are informal, not used for all situations, and they are regional, usually, like local to a certain area to some degree, right? And then also, let's see, another aspect of them would be that they are informal. They're more common in speech than in writing, right? So we say them more than we write them. That's slang. And typically they're restricted to a certain context or group of people, right? So if you use the word simp around my friends, I'm sorry, but we're going to laugh at you. We're going to laugh at you because we think that's a childish, stupid little child word. Like when you use that language around me, you just seem like you're sorry, but no, don't do that. That's why language is important. That's why you should know. There are times when you should know. You think that if I learn slang, I'm going to be cool. People will think my English is so great because I know slang. No. Nope, not true. I don't care if you ever learn any English slang. You don't need it. You don't need any English slang, ever. I almost never use any slang here, ever. Okay, almost never. All right? Forget it. It's not worth learning. You don't need it. Learn to speak well with proper English. Don't worry about slang, okay? Slang is a desperate attempt to seem cool using language. That's what it is, okay? You said exactly what some dude said to me during a funny argument about fast cars in the USA when I mentioned a Japanese fast car. I don't remember what I said. Thank you, Mahmoud. I appreciate the support. You're actually taking a grammar test, so you're an aspiring ESL teacher. Okay, good. So Mel, yeah, like I said, everybody has different purposes in language learning. If you're trying to be an ESL teacher, then yes, you need to have a good answer for that. And there are two answers to give. As an ESL teacher, I want you to remember this. Sometimes when people ask you a question, you need to give them the practical answer, and sometimes you need to give them the pedagogical answer. Okay, and a pedagogical answer means the answer they want for the test. That's the answer they want for the test. But then we also have another answer, which is the practical, real-life, real-world answer. All right, so in English, when talking about grammar, there are often two answers. Okay, this is what you should say on the test, and this is real life. Okay? Every one or each one? Both are fine. They're different. They say the same thing in a different way. Every one of these are good. Each one of these are good. They say exactly the same thing in two different ways. One is talking about the group. All of these are good. Every one of these. That's all of them. That's saying all together, these are all good. The other one, each one of these is good. It says the same thing, but it's just describing them individually. Each one of these in the group are good. All of these in the group are good. That's all it means. Okay? Every one and each one. Guys, if you want to follow me, go to my profile. Click on my profile and then look, and you'll see one link. When you read about me, you'll see one link. Open that link, copy that link, paste that link. Go to that link. You can follow my website. You can follow my YouTube. You can follow my podcast. You can, whatever. Anything to follow is on that link. Okay? Hello Talk doesn't like it when I talk about any other link from any other place. But if you go to my profile page, you can follow me there. They've allowed me to tell you can follow me. And if you follow me, then you can find my links. Okay? So you have to just, I'm not allowed to type them here anymore, apparently. That's what they've told me, right? So you can still go there, but you have to it's really hard. I know, guys, it's very, very hard. You have to click on the picture. You see the picture of me? I know this is hard. Click on that picture And when you click on that picture, click follow, and then read that page, and you'll see one link. Click it, copy and paste it, go to another website, open it up, and you'll find me. Okay? It's not that hard. If you think I'm worth following, then you'll do what's required. Okay? All right. Let's see. Yes, I do private lessons, Carlos, on my website. Are slang and phrasal verbs important? What's my opinion? Both are. So phrasal verbs are important, but slang is not, in my opinion. Okay, so don't worry about slang. Okay? Idioms are important, and phrasal verbs are important, but slang, in my opinion, is not. Okay? If you don't know the word simp, life will go on. Okay? How do we pronounce the word literally? Literally, 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 literally. That's what you say. Slowly, you'll say literally, 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 literally. Okay? When you say a T quickly, the T becomes a soft D. Okay? So literally becomes literally. Why is the Scottish accent so hard? It just is. That's just the way it developed. It's just the way it was developed. Carlos, I'm so sorry, but sometimes it's really hard to follow conversations when everything's broken apart. So honestly, I don't know what you're talking about still. I'm sorry, Carlos. I'm not sure. You said something about cars and something I said about fast cars. I don't know. I'm lost now. Sorry. Melody. Meowlody. I like that. Meowlody. Meowlody. Said, I learn English through books and talks on YouTube, and many people say I speak so formally. Does it really matter when I move to English countries? No, Meowlody. If you speak formally, nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. In my opinion, formal English will get you in many, many, many doors. Okay? So if you have formal English, that opens the most amount of doors. If you have slang, casual, common English, good for you, but it's not going to open any academic doors. It's not going to open any jobs for you. It's not going to be good for you when you meet new people in most situations. So, okay, so formal English is good, all right? The worst thing that can happen is you sound better than we do, which is very possible. Okay? You follow me with 5 accounts. Well, that's great. So what are phrasal verbs? Phrasal verbs are things like get out, get in, get on, get through, get over. Get over, like if I say, I need to get over my breakup. Pardon me. I need to get over my breakup means I broke up with my girlfriend. I'm very sad. I have bad feelings that I need to move past. That's to get over my bad feelings, right? To get through could be a difficult time. Like I have to study for my final exams. So the last few weeks of school are a difficult time to get through. Okay. Get on the bed. Get on it could mean something different. Get on the bed means literally get on top of the bed. Get on it means go do it now. Get on it means I want you to do something. Hey, I told you to go fix that thing. Get on it means go do it now. What are you waiting for? Okay? So phrasal verbs are when you take 2 words, one verb and another word, you put them together and it creates a separate new meaning. an improvised new meaning. Okay? And yes, Alyssa is my assistant, everyone. If you ever want to talk to her about lessons, you can, right? So if you want lessons from me, or if you want to know anything about how to follow me or anything, you can also ask Alyssa. All right? Shakespearean poems, it's a good opinion to try to learn English. Mahmoud, I love Shakespeare. I do. To be or not to be. Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Right? To thine own self be true. Right? This above all. I love Shakespeare. But no, it is not good for beginners for sure. Shakespeare is only for advanced learners of English. Okay, so if you get past the beginning and intermediate phase of English learning, yeah, when you get to the advanced phase, then you can start reading Shakespeare. But if you start reading Shakespeare as a beginner or intermediate level, not a good idea. It's almost a different language. Okay? How can you learn American IPA? Don't, Ragnar. We don't learn it, so why should you? You don't need IPA, in my opinion. I think IPA is overthinking pronunciation. It's making you think too hard. Okay? It does work. It's a system that does work, but it's a very complicated system that also takes a great deal of time to learn. And it's kind of like you're saying, well, I want to learn English, so to learn English, I have to learn IPA, which is another language. But again, if you ask a native American English speaker here, if you ask a speaker from America about IPA, none of them will know it. We know phonics, and phonics is what you should focus on. Don't focus on the written form of the sound of pronunciation. That's a weird thing to do, to be honest with you. Okay, it works, but it takes a great deal of time. I think IPA is good for 3% of learners. 3% of people will be very focused and have the same kind of mindset to want to learn that system. Everybody else, don't bother. How to pronounce attitude and guardian. Attitude, attitude, attitude. Guardian, guardian, guardian. Can I explain the word naughty? Naughty means bad behavior of some kind. Okay? Naughty has two kind of implications. One is just bad, right? Like that naughty little boy. He's always getting in trouble. So he's always writing on the walls, and he's always pulling the girl's hair. He's naughty. He's a naughty little boy. He does lots of bad things. Okay? Naughty also has a meaning that's kind of like it implies a certain kind of like sexual nature. Okay, so that show is kind of naughty, right? If you talk about, for example, the show Shameless. I like the show Shameless. It's a great show, but it's kind of naughty. It has both bad behavior and sexuality in it. That's, so sometimes the word is referring to kind of that type of bad behavior specifically. Okay, so it has two ways to be used most commonly. One is talking about like naughty little children, right? And the other one is talking more like things of a somewhat sexual nature, okay? Or somewhat, what's the word I'm looking for? Not evil. Wait. Maybe a somewhat malevolent, more malicious, or mean, behavior could be naughty. Okay. What does it say when someone says, "I'm not cranky yet"? I'm not cranky yet. Does it mean angry or in a bad mood? Cranky means upset, angry, bad mood. That's what it means. Like, he's a little cranky today. It means he's not in a good mood. He's kind of upset. He's kind of angry. So maybe leave him alone. He's cranky. Okay. The cranky old man, like that old man you talk to who is always like, leave me alone, you young people. I don't want to talk to you. He's cranky. Okay. He's just cranky. All right. It just means it's like a slang term that means, well, it's not really slang, I guess. It's just another word that just means upset. Yeah. What if people mistake me with AI in voice rooms? Is that bad or good? Victoria, I don't know what you mean. You used the word naughty in chat and they went ballistic? What were you talking about when you used the word? What's the level of English in the serial Supernatural? Galena, I've only seen that, like little bits of that show a few times, so I don't really know for sure. But I would probably say, intermediate advanced, right? I know that show is very popular, but that's an example of what I mean, though. It's maybe you like that show, but it might not have the best vocabulary for you for learning English, right? They're talking about werewolves and vampires, and okay, that's fun. But when are you going to talk about werewolves and vampires, Galena? Are you a werewolf hunter? Are you a vampire hunter? If that's your job, then maybe Supernatural is a great show for you to watch because the language will be good for you. But for most people, maybe it's not that useful, right? But I would say it's, any TV show that's on probably has an upper intermediate to advanced level because that's what's expected on TV for the most part. What do I think about adopting books as a learning method? I'm not sure what you mean by adopting books, Misha. What do you mean by adopting books? You're the only one on the app who says I teach English. Most of the hosts don't consider. Well, most of the hosts are not English teachers here. Most of the people who are on Hello Talk are not actual teachers. They are just native speakers of varying level and understanding, right? But this is my job. Okay? Let's see. Okay, I'm trying to catch up with the comments as much as I can. Please be patient. Nikita, thank you for the compliment. Anyone can speak like this. You just have to be more careful with how you speak. What you are hearing is care. Okay? Care with language. How to learn the correct English pronunciation of American English? Well, that depends which kind of American English you want to sound like. We have many accents. We have different accents. Okay, and Ragnar, what I would say is you need to learn phonics. A-E-I-O-U, A-E-I-O-U. Right? B-B-B, ba-ba-ba, C-C-C, ka-ka-ka, D-D-D, da-da-da, F-F-F, right? You have to learn all of the proper pronunciations and then put them together and practice all the sounds together. That's how to do it, okay? Thank you, Misha. I'm not familiar with who this Lynn is. I don't know a Lynn on here. I don't know many people here. Victory, you said, Victoria, you said someone thought you were an AI? We're not there yet, people. That's a stupid thing to think, okay? I know AI is there, but we're not there yet. Okay, there are not AI bots yet that are just randomly joining chats, and we're not there yet. That's at least a few years away. So it's a stupid thing to even say. Oh, you sound like an AI. I think you're an AI. Yeah. So, Victoria, what I would say is what Alyssa said is probably true. Maybe you sound a little bit robotic, but it means you speak clearly, which is good. Clarity is the most important. And I would suggest maybe just find a different group of people to speak with. Okay? Long time no see. What about it? Yes, we say it. It's actually a Chinese phrase. 好久不见. And Victoria, you're from Italy. I find that really hard to believe, to be honest with you. Italian language is the most mellifluous language in the world, in my opinion. Mellifluous. You guys know that word? It's a good word. It means like music. So I find it very hard to believe that you, as an Italian, when you speak English, that you sound robotic. I bet you don't. I bet you sound great. Okay? Victoria, if you would like, raise your hand. Come talk to me. I'll tell you how you sound. Okay? I'll tell you how you sound. Adopted books by old authors. I still don't know what you mean by adopt books, guys. That's not a common thing to say. Adopting is a word we use when we talk about children. Adopting is a word that we use when we talk about behaviors. We adopt new behaviors, right? But adopting books, I don't even understand what that means. What do you mean, adopting books? Not an original text by Mark Twain, but an adopted text of Mark Twain. Okay. You guys are using the wrong word. It's not adopted. I think you mean adapted. Adapted is a different word than adopted. I think that's what you mean. Let me check. There's this word, and they are not the same. Adapted is a word that means changed somehow to be new. It's adapted. We've adapted it to fit something, to change, to match with something, right? So when you adapt a text to A2 level, it means you're rewriting the book for a lower level of reading, okay? So that's adapted, right? Adopted means to take something in like it's your family. We adopt it. Okay, adopting behaviors means it's a behavior you would like to do, so you adopt that behavior. You take that behavior on. Okay, so I think you just had the wrong word. It's not adopted. You're looking for adapted. Okay. So, yes, adapted books I think are good. I think there's nothing wrong with an adapted book. I do the same thing in Chinese, Mikhail. Okay? Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. It's great, actually, because you can start with an adapted book at one level and then read the same book at another level, right? So you can start with the lowest level and read the same book all the way up until the real copy. Okay? Mellifluous, yes, that's the word. Right. I love that word. Here in Fortaleza, we've got our own slang that I think would know. Right, that's what I mean. Every area has its own slang. Right, and I don't bother to learn them all. Yeah. Okay. Yes, adapted is the word you're looking for. Good, okay. All right, good. Let's get on to the next person. Let's talk to Neymar for a minute. Raise your hand if you want to come talk to me. I'll try to get you on stage. Neymar, do you want to come talk to me? Hello, Neymar.
Hello, teacher. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks you for asking.
Good.
Just I
What can I do for you?
wanted to ask a question,
Okay.
and it's the word. Actually, I asked it in chat by word in ChatGPT, but actually I misunderstood this word, and I use it in a group, and
The word naughty. Yeah, you were
I
talking
was
about
talking
naughty.
about-
Right. I don't know why anyone would get upset about the word naughty. What did you say that made them mad? I don't understand.
I I'm as a native speaker, but I say to him, "You are naughty." I mean, uh, I try to say, "You are too funny." I mean, this
Okay.
word. But
Guess what? Guess what?
don't know.
No,
Actually, he
that's another way you can use the word, and that's okay. So if someone makes a joke that's kind of a bad joke, right? Like a it's like a joke that's making fun of people somehow. It's a little bit bad or mean, right? Then yeah, you could say, "Oh, ha ha ha, you're so naughty." Yeah, you absolutely can use it that way. And it's not that bad.
but-
It's not bad. If you call someone naughty, if they get upset about it, what's wrong with you, man? Neymar, whoever got upset, those are not native speakers, are they?
I think, yeah. Actually, I think he doesn't know about
Right, right. So
about his language. Actually, I
Right.
searched it in ChatGPT.
right. So I think that somebody got upset for no reason. Right? And guys, when you're talking to other people from other countries around the world and other cultures and other languages, and you're speaking English, which is not your first language, guess what? Guess what? Occasionally, you're going to have a misunderstanding. Occasionally, you're going to say something that people won't interpret the right way, which is exactly what happened to you, Neymar. So you said the word naughty, and actually, it sounds like you used it in a completely fine way. But the person you said it to, their understanding of the word naughty is wrong. They think the word naughty means really bad or evil or terrible or whatever. They think it's a really bad word. It's not. It's not a bad word. Sometimes I'm naughty. We're all naughty sometimes. Okay? It's not a bad word, so don't worry about it. Somebody got mad for nothing. And you just need to remember, when you're talking with people, sometimes that happens. You're going to have a misunderstanding. Don't worry about it. Okay?
Language is my second language. Sometimes I make mistake, and
Yeah, maybe you do.
It's
but
normal for us.
That's
for
right.
A learner.
That's exactly right. And in this case, you didn't make any mistake. Sounds like they did. It sounds like they made the mistake, right? They didn't understand the word naughty, so they got upset. So don't worry about it. Okay? The word naughty, we talk about naughty like he's such a naughty boy. She's such a naughty girl. They're naughty children. My class is a little bit naughty, right? So maybe I have, I'm going on vacation, and now I have another teacher who will be substituting, teaching my classes, right? So substitute teaching. And I have to tell this person about my class. And I'll say, oh, well, this class is very, very good, but this class, they're a little bit naughty. And that means that maybe some of the kids are a little bad sometimes. That's all. Maybe they talk too much. Maybe they don't listen. Maybe they're late to class. Maybe they don't finish their homework in time. Maybe they talk or yell and, play around in class. That's just naughtiness. That's just being naughty. There's nothing bad about that. Okay? So don't worry. All right?
Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, teacher, for making
Yeah, you're welcome.
making me sure. Actually, I have another question.
Okay, go ahead.
It's not the kind of question actually, but I'm gonna participate in IELTS exam. So, teacher, the writing is very boring and tedious for me. But actually, I text with people a lot, but my writing is so weak. So
Okay.
how can I make it fun for myself?
You can't always, Neymar. You can't always. So here's my answer for you. How can you make writing fun? Write about things that you like. Write about things that you're interested in. Write about things that you're passionate about. That's one way you can make it fun. Okay? But the truth is, Neymar, if you want to learn anything, I don't care what it is, if you want to learn it well, there will be some things that you can learn and have fun while doing them, but there are some parts of learning that will just be hard. That's why we respect people who are smart and have a lot of knowledge, because we know to become smart and have a lot of knowledge, it's not always fun. It's hard sometimes. That's why. So, Neymar, you have to ask yourself, do I want respect? If I want respect, then I have to do the work. Understand? So,
Right.
so what I would say is you need to remind yourself
got
of
it.
two things. You need to try to make it fun any way you can. So write about your family, write about, maybe a story from your past, write about something you love, like your hobbies or your interests or the music you like, or write about, a place you love, write about something that you like. That's great. Find a bunch of things you can write about that you do like, right? That you're passionate about. That will make it a little bit easier. But then you need to remember that climbing mountains is hard. Climbing mountains is hard.
Right, exactly.
So if you ask me, hey, how can I get to the top of that mountain without, I want to go to the top of the mountain, but I only want to have fun. Right? I want to get to the top of the mountain, but I only want to have fun. I don't want it to be hard. It's hard, man. To get to the top of the mountain is hard. Sometimes it's fun. Sometimes there's a beautiful view and the weather is nice and you're relaxed and it feels great. And then there are other times when you're climbing the mountain where you're almost falling and ready to die. That's the nature of learning. That's the nature of learning, okay? So do what you can to make it fun, and then remind yourself that if you want respect, you have to earn it. If you want to tell people you got to the top of the mountain, you have to do the work.
Thanks, teacher. Thanks for your great advice.
You're welcome.
It's really useful and helpful for me.
Good.
And
I'm glad.
Have a good night. Have a good.
All right. Thank you. Yeah.
Have a good day.
Yeah. Thank you. It's daytime here. Yeah. I'll be having lunch here soon. But it was nice to talk to you again, my friend, and keep working on it. You're doing fine. Okay. Don't worry about what some people said. They just misunderstood you, and misunderstandings happen. Okay. All right. I'll talk to you next time. Okay, Neymar?
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you. Goodbye.
Let's see. Let me check my comments here. There are two Americans who are famous on YouTube. They got crazy when they were here. They came to Hello Talk, and I don't know about that. Tell you all the uses of get, king, that would take 3 hours. The word get has many, many, many answers. Okay, many uses. What I would say, King, is this is a good question for ChatGPT. Ask ChatGPT to please explain all of the possible uses of the word get. Okay? Omar wants a sincere relationship with a girl. Omar, if you want a sincere relationship with a girl, then make yourself a sincere guy. I wish someone would have told me this a long time ago. If you want a girl, then you must make yourself a good guy. Just like girls, if you want a guy, you must make yourself a good girl. It's not hard. So sometimes when you feel like, I want this thing, you think it's outside. That girl is outside. No. The girl, if you want the girl, then the thing you need to do is inside, not outside. You need to work on yourself to make sure you're ready Because guess what, Omar? You might meet the perfect girl tomorrow, but because you didn't develop yourself, when you meet, it won't work. Because you didn't grow up enough. You're not ready. So work on yourself. Work on yourself, or when you do meet the right girl, it won't work because you're not ready. Okay. Shaytun in Persian means naughty. Okay, interesting. Everyone can be naughty sometimes. Yes. Even when there are misunderstandings during conversation, I notice that English is universal for other cultures. I think I know what you mean. Yeah, Carlos. When you get to my age, things like eat, sleep, watch TV. Right, yeah. Thank you, Yo-Yo. Okay, thank you. Okay, I finished the questions. Now let's get somebody else who wants to talk to me. Raise your hand if you want to talk to me. Let's talk to Asafur. Asafur, do you want to come talk to me? Hello?
Hello?
Asafur, hello? Are you there?
Asafar, hello? Are you there?
I can hear you. I am from Bangladesh.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hello, my friend.
Yeah.
How are you?
I am fine.
Good. What can I do for you today?
Good. What can I do for you today?
I am from Bangladesh.
Okay. Do you have a question for me?
Do you have a question for me?
Actually, I see your class regularly, and your pronunciation is very fantastic. Already, I see your class regularly, and when you talk to this live event, already I hear the deeply, and it is very benefited to me, and already I follow you.
Okay, good, good. So do you have a question about English? Do you have a problem that you want me to help you with?
Actually, how to best learn English speaking and writing. This purpose, I want to your good suggestions.
Okay, so if you want to practice speaking, the first thing you should do is practice thinking with English. So you can practice the words here a lot. And if you practice the words here a lot, then they will be ready. The words will be ready when you need them. Okay? So if you live in a country that doesn't speak English, then you don't get much practice when you speak. You don't have any opportunities to practice speaking. So you must find another way. You must find another way to practice. And the way to practice is by thinking in English every day. When you do anything simple, everything simple, change to English. So when you are tired, don't think I'm tired in Bangladeshi. Think I'm tired in English. When you are hungry, don't think I'm hungry in Bangladeshi. Think I'm hungry in English, right? Every simple thing that you can think in English, try to think in English. That's the secret. Start using English every day here. Make English live in your mind every day. When you brush your teeth, English. When you make breakfast, English. When you go to the store, English. When you watch TV, English. Try. Anything you can, try. I know you can't think everything in English. I didn't say that. I said think anything you can. Think anything you can in English. Start like that. And if you don't know how to think it, then write it down. Write it down, because that's homework. You can work on that later. You can find out, how do I say this? Oh, okay, now I know how to say it. Okay? So that's what I would say, is work on thinking every day, Asifer, okay?
Thank you very much for your nice suggestion. And already I see the English movie, and already I see the English story. And regularly I expression and disclose this any other topics in English. And when you are meet to my friend, already they are make a group and discussion with the group discussion and every time. And I inform you that this my bar exam is in this year, and there are 5-member group in WhatsApp group. And when talk to the law purpose, and it is presentation of the English. Presentation of the
Okay.
English.
All right, that's good. That's good. So I think you should work on your speaking and your listening. If you go to my website, and you will find many things that you can use to practice speaking and listening. Many resources for speaking and listening practice. Okay, go to my website and you'll find it. Okay?
What is your website name?
Let me type it for everybody. It's AFIEC English. There it is.
Oh yeah.
I put it in the chat. Okay? Copy that and paste it. Okay? AFIECEnglish.com. All right? So Asifer, unfortunately the connection is not very good, so I'm going to let you go, but please do go to my website and you'll find what you need for speaking and for listening. Okay?
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And already I see you and follow, and all time I see the all time your connectivity is English, and you help the all over of the people, and not only all over the also it is your worldwide your process. It is good, and already I follow you, and your pronunciation is very very highly, and already I see you, and since my Bangladeshi language, and already I involved to your British or American English accent.
Okay, well then that's good. Keep working on that. Keep working on that, okay? You sound good, Asifer. Just keep trying, all right? It was nice to meet you. Nice to talk to you. I'll see you next time, okay?
Okay, nice to meet you too.
All right, take care, my friend. Okay, so yeah, everybody, guess what? It's been 2 hours. It's time for me to go. I'm trying to only do an hour and a half these days, but it's been 2 hours, so it's time for me to go. But again, if you guys go to my profile, click on my picture and you can see my profile. You can follow me on Hello Talk, and you will see a link that says it's my link tree. It's this one right here. Go here. If you go to my profile on Hello Talk, you will find that link tree website. If you go to that, you can follow my website, you can follow my YouTube, you can follow my podcast, you can follow all of those. Okay, anything that you want to follow, it's right there on that link. So please go there and follow. All right. I am here 10 times a week. I do 5 live streams and 5 voice streams every week, or, about that much. Sometimes I'm busy, sometimes I'm sick, maybe I don't show up for 1 or 2, but I'm usually here about 10 times a week, about 15, maybe 20 hours every week. All right? And I do answer questions about reading, writing, listening, speaking, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, accent, everything. Okay? I have about 80,000 followers here now, almost. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me. I have to go, but thank you guys for watching and following. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening wherever you live in the world. I'll see you guys later tonight. I have a voice room, okay? So I'll see you on my voice room tonight. All right, guys.